Hello Scorpio, this is your weekly forecast for astrology and cards for the week starting October 31st, 2016. And this also applies if you have a Scorpio ascendant or moon, which is why I usually say hello Scorpio moons and hello Scorpio risings as well. So hello! And don't forget, we also have monthly astrology for November already up. If you want to check that out, it's on the main channel page under November 2016. And of course, if you'd like to get a session with me that is outside the general horoscopes, more unique to your personal situation, your personal questions, you can always go to my website, integrativemysticism.com. So what is going on with your astrology this week? Well, this week, Scorpio, it's going to be very heavily focused on your finances and your work area, but in a very good way. On Wednesday, we've got the moon conjunct Saturn in your work and finance area in Sagittarius. And whenever the moon and Saturn come together, we're kind of identifying a culprit. We're identifying an X factor. And if you've been in a situation where you've noticed maybe work has been slowing down, hours have been, not as great as they could be, or maybe things have just been extremely inconsistent, this moon card conjunct Saturn will show you exactly why and where the problem is so it can be solved. Sometimes these things might look like they're unsolvable, especially if you're self-employed. But what is actually showing up here is you're going to kind of see your X factor. Is something getting turned away? Is there maybe a problem with your website? Is there a challenge going on with maybe a conflict of interest with another coworker? Whatever this moon card, the moon conjunct Saturn is, it's not meant to be threatening. The culprit gets found out so we can do away with it and, and actually give you some support that you need. On Thursday, we've got Venus, the planet of love and harmony and money even, forming a very strong trine to your Uranus in your 6th house of work and reputation. And this can be a gorgeous day, actually gorgeous 2 days, it's more like Thursday and Friday, where even though things are still a little bit inconsistent, they're inconsistent in a much more busy way. And financially, you're going to be getting a huge boost to the beginnings of your November. You may be actually making quite a fair amount of money, and if you're trying to tap into a new market, new hours, or new projects outside the norm, Uranus is going to spoil you for choice, okay? So it looks like we're actually going to have a huge payoff at the end of this week. So what is going on with your spiritual advice with the Oracle card before we move into the Tarot? Well, for your Oracle, we do have the Fairy Norn, and this is talking about a need to pay attention to where cooperation and planning and mutualism need to become a priority this week. Getting away from perhaps taking too much of a dog-eat-dog or individualistic attitude. Because the Fairy Norn is talking about the fact that inclusiveness, even in your most, personal agendas or bucket lists and things like that, is actually going to expedite the completion of whatever these goals or ideals are. In fact, the Fairy Norn can also talk a lot about a need to consider collaboration this week when it is offered. So when people start bringing in things that may not necessarily be on your itinerary, it's outside of your, your list, make sure that you're actually keeping an open mind, because again, opening it up for that kind of teamwork, giving up that kind of control is going to have the biggest payoff. For your Earth sector, when it comes to your work and finances, we have the Page of Cups, inverted. This card can actually be a good card and a bad card at the same time. And one of the things about the Page of Cups inverted that you've got to know is that financially things are actually much better than you could have expected. But with the Page of Cups inverted, it's kind of like intrusiveness coming from popularity. And a lot of this could be maybe you feeling like you're never really coming home from work. And that a lot of that has to do with, again, the unwanted attention. Even if it's good attention, it's just kind of following you everywhere. People calling, too many emails, you're getting swamped. But at the same time, again, financially, this is a great boon, so it's like you have to take the good with the bad. The Page of Cups inverted can say, though, if you're feeling like you are getting popular or well-known for something that you're not necessarily proud of, or something that you just maybe don't want people to have as a regular expectation of you, you do need to vocalize that this week. Otherwise, they're going to take that for granted, and maybe you'd rather have them focus on something else. For your communications with air, we do have the Ten of Swords upright. Now remember, this does talk about messages you get from others, from friends, from relatives, and this is really more about them, you know, as they relate to you. And the Ten of Swords does indicate a harsh end to a harsh situation. You know, it's sort of like a really tumultuous climax to a problem that a friend or a relative has been having personally. Now, this could be a relationship of theirs, this could be a job of theirs, this could be something going on in their neighborhood or with their friendship circle, but they are bringing it to you that it has come to an end. And I always pull some extra cards to get some feedback on this, or to get some more out of this, and what I've got is the Ten of Wands and the Seven of Cups upright. And so it looks like this person is just coming to look to do a bit of a brainstorm, because the Seven of Cups is kind of saying, as far as you're concerned, Scorpio, you can't really do anything about this to prevent it or change it. Nay, there's a part of you that may actually feel like this is actually good for him or her, even though they don't think so right now. And that might be why the Ten of Wands is also showing up. It's a need to pay attention to where it might need to be every man or woman for themselves, but at the same time, with the Seven of Cups, this is actually good for them. There is such a thing as good pain. For your challenge this week with fire, we do have the Page of Swords inverted. This card warns against, Scorpio, the need to pay attention to where the crowd may be jumping to a wrong conclusion. I'm not sure if this is because of rumor mills or conjecture, or, you know, people just not necessarily doing good math. But with the Page of Swords inverted, you're going to be wanting to pay attention to social circles that are kind of living in that rumor mill. People who are kind of, you know, too easily given to that herd mentality, stampede mentality. You know, it's kind of like when you watch people get hysterical online, and for some reason all it takes is one person and their neural Wi-Fi kind of sets off 20 more people. You don't necessarily need to be a part of that. And the Page of Swords inverted is also saying, don't let that come into you, because you are going to notice, you know, between one day and the next, you know, the problem is up and gone. Now, I'm sure that this might have to do with what's going on with what we just saw with the Ten of Swords. So again, make sure that you're not feeding or fueling that fire. Sometimes it's like the more people get upset, the more people get upset. But nobody, it's like a game of telephone where everyone's crying and sobbing, but it's like nobody really is getting to the heart of the issue to find out there might not be an issue at all. For your emotions with water and your romantic life, we've got the Five of Pentacles upright. Gorgeous card, believe it or not. Sometimes this card can be really challenging. It's not necessarily seen as a good card for things like health or for money, but when it comes to love, it's fantastic. Because with the Five of Pentacles, it is one of the few cards in the deck that does talk about an opportunity to indulge or explore a potentially karmic relationship. And you know I make it a point not to use that word a lot. And with the Five of Pentacles, this talks about a new love opportunity, either a new love opportunity in an existing relationship that you're in, or a new love opportunity in somebody new that has no pretense whatsoever. The thing about the Five of Pentacles upright is talking about all walls being taken down, all personas, you know, all of that fake kind of stuff that we kind of do to give a good impression is going away, and we're kind of exposed to each other this week, or, you know, even with this brand new person. It's probably one of the truest heart-to-hearts you can actually have this week, and I think that, you know, the fact that it's coming in love means it's going to be very promising, again, whether you're single or committed. So that is your forecast, Scorpio. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And of course, if you would like to get a session with me, you can always follow the links below, or go to integrativemysticism.com.